Hello or hell no, cause we are starting one of the most challenging tutorial in this series. Today we are building the rig for the eyelets. I remind you that last time we built the eye rig. You can find the link to the Blender file from the last tutorial in the description of the video. And now let's go. Activate all grease pencil objects related to the eyelids. In the object mode, move the eyelids objects in such a way to close the eyes. We can activate the reference to make it easier. We close the eyelids cause this is their default location. If we look at the reference, we can notice that the lower eyelids are beyond the reference line. Correct the eyelids in the scalp mode using the grub tool, then smooth all sharp lines. Do it for both lower eyelids. Well done! Finally we can start to build the rig. Select the armature and switch to the edit mode. Duplicate the def eye.r bone and locate the duplicated bone above the right edge of the right eyelids. Clear parenting from this bone and rotate it by 90 degrees according to the video. Name this bone as def-eyelid-upper-01.r. This bone relates to the upper eyelid. Scale up this bone in such a way to locate it along the contact line of both eyelids. Disable the visibility of the lower eyelid cause now we are working with the upper one. Select the def eyelid bone and open the context menu. Select subdivide and set 5 in the number of cuts field. Correct the location of the bones joints according to the video. The middle joint should be close to the eye center. The two extreme joints from both edges should be close to each other, and the third and fifth joints should be located in such a way to make the nearest bones be with the equal size. I hope my explanation is understandable for you. If it isn't, ask your questions in the comment section and I walk you through it step by step. Anyway, let's correct the names of the new bones. Delete the extra numbers in the end of their names and number them from 1 to 6 according to the video. After that we need to switch to the object mode. Now we can see that all eyelids bones have disappeared. I'll explain why this has happened. Go to the pose mode and select all bones by pressing A key, then press Alt H to display all hidden bones. So, the problem was that we duplicated the def eye.r bone which was hidden in the pose mode. That's why all duplicated bones became hidden in this mode too. The rig building is a tricky business, isn't it? Go to the object mode and create a new lattice. Name this lattice as lid upper right lat. Align this lattice with the upper right eyelid. After that, open the lattice properties. Set all interpolation as linear, then set the resolution as 32 to 12. Select the upper right eyelid and open the modifier properties tab. Add the lattice modifier and select the relevant lattice in the object field. Now, select the lattice of the upper right eyelid and open the modifier properties tab. Add the armature modifier and select armature in the object field. Let's create the vertex groups for the lattice. Open the lattice properties tab and create 6 groups. The names of these groups must be exactly the same as the names of the relevant eyelids bones. It is time to assign the vertices. Switch to the edit mode, select the vertices which correspond to the location of the first def bone of the eyelid, then assign them to the first group. Assign the vertices to the rest groups similarly. After that, select the armature and go to the pose mode to see how the bones works. As we can see, the binding has done successfully, but we get the sharp angles while the bone rotation. We need to fix it. Select all 6 dev bones of the eyelid and open the Bone Properties tab. Then open the Bendy Bones tab. Holding Alt key, set 32 in the Segments field. Now when we are manipulating the bones, we can see the smooth angle. And now we need to add some controller bones. But first, we need to build MCH bones. Go to the Edit mode. Extrude a new bone from the origin of the first dev bone of the eyelid. Change index dev to MCH in the name of this bone. Then assign it to the MCH layer. We need to duplicate this bone and locate it to each joint of the dev bones. Activate the snap mode and set snap to vertex. This option allows us to snap duplicated bones to the joints when we point the mouse cursor over the joints. Duplicate the MCH bone and locate it to each joint according to the video. Hide all bones related to the pupil and eye. We need to leave only the eyelids bones for now. Delete extra numbers in the names of each duplicated MCH bones and number them from 1 to 7 according to the video. After that, we need to connect the MCH bones with the dev bones. Select the first eyelids dev bone and parent it to the first MCH bone. Switch to the pose mode and hide all bones related to the pupil and eye. Now we need to step back for a while. We got a little problem here. The thing is, the middle MCH bone snapped to the wrong bone. That happened because I didn't hide the bones of the eye and pupil in time. It's not a big deal, just need to snap it to the correct joint. After that, go back to the pose mode. Select the last MCH bone, then select the last dev bone. Press Ctrl-Shift-C and select the Stretch to Constraint. Do it for the rest 5 pairs of the MCH and dev bones. Pay attention that constraint must be assigned to the dev bones. After that, manipulate the MCH bones to check how the rig works. So far, everything works like it should. Now we need to create a single bone controller to manipulate the whole eyelid at once. But first, let's connect the eyelids bones with the main rig. Switch to the edit mode and duplicate the middle MCH bone. Scale up the duplicated bone and align it with the height of both eyelids according to the video. This is the main MCH bone of both upper and lower eyelids, which connects them with the main rig. Name this bone as MCH-eyelids.r. Duplicate the middle MCH bone again. Scale up the duplicated bone and name it as CTRL-eyelid-upper.r. This bone is the main controller of the upper eyelid, so assign it to the CTRL layer. Select all 7 additional MCH bones and 1 CTRL. Then parent them to the main MCH bone. After that, select the main MCH bone of the right eyelids and parent it to the dev head bone. Switch to the pose mode to check the binding. All eyelids bones have connected to the main rig, but the upper eyelid is deforming while rotation. Let's fix this. Go to the object mode and select the lattice. Create a new group of vertices and name it exactly as the main MCH bone, namely MCH-eyelids.r. Switch to the edit mode and select all vertices of this lattice. Assign them to the related group. Go back to the pose mode and rotate the head. Now all is working as it should. It is the time to connect the controller bone with MCH bones. For this, we will use the copy location constraint. The influence of this constraint will be different for each MCH bone. The first and 7th bones get their influence, so they don't need the constraint at all. The 2nd and 6th bones get small influence that equals 0.1, while the 3rd and 5th bones get influence that equals 0.7, and the middle MCH bone get full influence. After this explanation, select the CTRL bone, then select the 6th MCH bone. Press Ctrl-Shift-C and select the copy location constraint. Set local space at the space settings of this constraint. Set influence value on 0.1. Let's copy this constraint to the rest MCH bones. Select the MCH bones from the 2nd to the 5th. Then select the 6th MCH bone. Click on the Pause tab. Select the constraints, then copy constraints to selected bones. That's how we assign the constraint to the rest bones. But now we need to correct the value of the influence to these bones. For the 5th MCH bone, set the influence on 0.7. The influence of the middle bone set on maximum value. For the 3rd bone, set the influence on 0.7. The 2nd bone don't need any changes. Let's manipulate the controller bone to see how the upper eyelid reacts. The eyelid works good, but if we move the controller to the extreme left or right positions, we can see some defects. It is not a big problem, cause we don't need to move the controller to extreme positions. The eyelids controller should operate only about the middle part of the eyelid. Okay, you know what? We have just built the rig for the upper right eyelid. But there are still 3 eyelids without a rig. Let's deal with it. Switch to the edit mode and activate the layers of each type of bones. Hide the main MCH bone. Select all remaining bones related to the upper eyelid and duplicate them. Locate the duplicated bones lower than the origin bones. As you can see, all duplicated bones already have the correct parenting. Hide all bones related to the upper eyelid. After that, locate the lower group of bones to the position of the origin bones, which is hidden for now. Go to the object mode, activate the visibility of the lattice related to the upper eyelid and duplicate it. Locate it just under the lattice of the upper eyelid. Now we can hide the upper lattice and change the upper index to lower in the name of the lower lattice. After that, we need to correct the names of the bones. Change the upper index to lower and delete extra numbers in the end of the names of each bone. Switch to the object mode and select the lattice. If we now open the lattice properties, we can see that it already has the vertex groups, but we got 2 issues here. First, we need to rename the groups, and second, we need to reassign the vertices for the first 6 groups. So, remove all vertices from the first 6 groups and then change upper to lower in the names of all 7 groups. Let's assign vertices again. Do it by analogy with the upper lattice. Select the vertices that correspond to location of the first dev bone and assign them to the related group, which in our case is the first group. Assign the vertices to the rest groups. Actually, we could mirror the lower lattice by z-axis in the object mode. In that case, we could avoid the reassignment of the vertices. But what's done is done. Notice that the lower lattice already has the armature modifier. In the Object mode, select the lower eyelid and open the Modifier Properties tab. Add the lattice modifier, select the relevant lattice in the object field. After that, switch to the pose mode to see how the eyelids controllers work. As we can see, the one controller is enough for each eyelid. You could notice that there is some glitch in the right corner of the eyes while they are blinking. Probably that cause the planes of the two eyelids are too close to each other. In order to fix it, go to the Object mode and move the upper eyelid a little bit forward by Y-axis. Then move the lower eyelid a little bit backward by Y-axis. Okay, the glitch has been fixed. And remember, we shouldn't move the eyelids controllers to extreme positions. Well, let's give our character the ability to open the left eye. Switch to the Edit mode, select all bones and press Alt-H to show the hidden bones. But then we need to hide the bones related to the eye and pupil in order to leave only the eyelids bones. After that, select the bones of both eyelids, open the context menu and select the Symmetrize option. Align the gained bones with the left eyelids. Enable the visibility of the both lattices related to the right eyelids. Then duplicate them in the Object mode. Align the duplicated lattices with the deaf bones of the left eyelids. Select the lattice of the lower left eyelid and open its properties. Open the Vertex Groups tab and change index R to L in the names of the groups. Also do it for the upper lattice. Correct the names of the left lattices, change index right to left in their names. Basically, the left bones are mirrored, that's why we also have to mirror the lattices. Select the lower lattice and switch to the Edit mode. Select all vertices and mirror them by X-axis. Go back to the Object mode and select the lower eyelid. Open the Modifier Properties tab and add the Lattice modifier. Select the relevant lattice in the object field. Repeat those actions for the upper lattice and eyelid.
While we are working with the upper eyelid, let's listen to some music.
I've just tired from speaking. And you? Have you tired of my speaking? Anyway, select the armature and switch to the pose mode to check how everything works. All works properly.
Perfect, we have done with eyelids.
The file with today's results will be available in the next tutorial. Next time we are creating the action for blinking. As usual, subscribe to the channel in order not to miss next lessons. Ask your questions in the comment section, and until the next exciting time.